you're in favor of having Grand Prix horses at the Pan Ams, or you're...
We are. The proposal has been discussed by our dressage board, and I believe with their athletes as well. And they have endorsed having a mixed team that would include both small tour and Grand Prix riders. The details of that, we still have a good deal of discussion and debate to work this through. And indeed, we've not yet heard back from the other countries in this hemisphere. But certainly that is the consensus with the Dressage Canada board.
Okay, so it has to go through the whole process.
That's correct.
So we're not near seeing that
No,
necessarily?
not right now. But certainly a decision will be made in time for the 2015 Games in Toronto.
The same thing for eventing or other sports as well?
Well, eventing currently at the Pan American Games is held as a two-star championship course, which again is at a lower level than the Olympics. There was significant debate at the Games in Mexico, and indeed in Canada, about whether we should be moving towards at least a three-star event at the Pan American Games. I think the consensus, although the Canadian Eventing Committee has not yet informed me of what their final view is on the subject, the emerging consensus seems to be that the Pan American Games do have to aspire to eventually be a three-star competition, but it has to be phased in. Again, the worry is that if we were to go today to a three-star competition, too few countries would be able to participate at the Pan American Games. Encouragingly, however, the last Pan American Games had the largest ever turnout for eventing, granted the two-star championship level, and all three disciplines actually exceeded their quota for the first time in history. That is, there were more countries who wanted to send horses and riders than we were technically allowed to have, though fortunately we were able to have them all participate. It's going very well. For equestrianism especially, it will be almost certainly the largest equestrian presence at the Pan American Games of all times. Mexico, as I mentioned earlier, had more horses and riders than we were supposed to have, so we're going to have to work out some sort of a qualification process for Toronto. That would be a difficult process, but it's a happy problem to have, that we have so many people so many athletes and horses who want to attend, that it's potentially more than we can handle. In addition to that, for the first time ever, there's going to be a travel subsidy to bring horses and riders to Toronto for the equestrian events. And this, our hope, we were very clear in our work with the bid committee when we supported Toronto's bid, that this was something we wanted to see in place to ensure that teams from less developed, from poorer countries in our hemisphere are able to compete on an equal footing in equestrian sport. So I'm very excited about that. There is, of course, we will definitely have eventing, dressage and jumping. We're working very hard to carve out a place for para-dressage at the Para-Pan American Games. The decision on which sports will be chosen for the Para-Pan American Games won't be taken until, well, perhaps the middle of this year, but we're lobbying furiously. Our view is that the cost of adding para-dressage to the agenda is quite modest because the facilities are already in place for dressage. And of all equestrian sports, para-dressage probably has the fastest growth in the Pan American region.
Plus we have a very good shot.
Plus we have a great shot, and I'm, being an unreconstructed Canadian nationalist, I make no apology for trying to do everything I can to make sure my country has as many medals as possible.
Exactly, that's a very good argument, isn't it? All that stuff.
I think Polgrave is wondering the same thing.
Okay.
The process of venue management has been long and tortuous, not just for equestrian sport, but for all of the sports. One of the main selling points for bringing the Pan American Games to the Greater Toronto area was that this is going to be, it will be, a cooperative effort between the federal government, the provincial government and municipal governments, as well as public and private funders. And that is a lovely thing. It means that the cost will be spread out, the benefits will be spread out, and it appeals to the desire that all Canadians have to see us all join hands together and sing Kumbaya. Of course, getting all those levels of government and all those actors to work together is just an extraordinary challenge. The equestrian venues, for example, cross two different jurisdictions. They are legally in two different municipalities because the cross-country course is in one area at Willow Wind, and which is just down the road from Palgrave, but it crosses over a municipal boundary. That fact alone adds legal complexity to this. But my hope is that we will see construction begin this year and begin quite shortly. But I don't know if I should take comfort in this or not, but I know that other sports are very much in the same boat as us, that they are still waiting for final disposition of many of the venues.
So it could take years, basically.
Well,
A short.
No, it can't take years
Oh,
for the practical reason that constructing the venue can't be done 6 months before the event. The soil needs time to settle, and because the soil needs time to settle, we need time to hold test events. But also because it will be held at an active equestrian facility, we are asked. There are defined windows of opportunity when construction can be held. It would not be reasonable for us to say we're going to begin construction while a facility is in the middle of a competition or in the middle of its competition season.
So